It's the weekend and you have financial questions that need answering. That can only mean one thing. It's time for Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
Welcome to the Jill on Money Show. This is the program that takes the mystery out of your financial life. If you've got a question, anything going on in your life that relates to dollars and cents, just give us a holler. Go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and if you'd like to join us on the air, all you need to do is check that box. We do emails from time to time. Let's take one from Jeff, who says he enjoys the program, and he says he wants to know where he stands for his goal of retiring at age 62. He's 57, so we got 5 years, single, no dependents. He lives in Virginia. He works as a social worker. He makes about $100,000 a year, and he owns his townhouse outright. All right, here's what he's got. $770,000 in a 457 account, and he contributes the maximum, including the catch-up every year, so $30,000 now. He's got another $770,000, just a coincidence, he writes, in Roth IRAs. So he's got $1.5 million. He says, I have both a county and state pension. Oh my God. Mark, this is incredible. So the state will pay him $3,068 a month if he retires at 62. County pension would be about $1,580 per month. I mean, already I'm excited about this guy's plans. I almost want to say, how is he doing? I'm like, okay, you're done. We're all good. But maybe he spends a ton of money. So we'll have to see. But right now, again, the two pensions together, $4,650 a month. All right. He also has taxable brokerage accounts. He's got $44,000 in emergency reserves, $54,000 in liquid assets for a car, vacation, home maintenance, no debt, pays off his credit card every month. He's got estate documents. He says his expenses right now are $5,000 a month. He's going to have most of that in pension income, right? $4,650. It'll be taxable, but I get it. And he says he will be also able to collect Social Security when he retires, but he's going to have to pay his own health insurance until he's 65. Is this enough for me to retire at 62? Mark, shall we say it together? 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
He says if he works longer, his 457 would have a higher valuation. His pension and Social Security payments would increase. No big expenditures. He'd like to travel more for a few years when he retires. He says, when I put the data in the retirement calculator at work, it's telling me I'll be fine. It's scary to go from saving to spending. All right, listen, Jeff, calm down. You got plenty of money. He wants to know about, so I don't even know what to tell you except that you're fine, you're great, you've saved a lot of money, and you're good to go. He gave us his allocation. He's got mutual funds and exchange traded funds, Vanguard and T. Rowe Price, which is fantastic. He says most of his money in his 457 is in a 2035 retirement fund. I don't know. I don't love that for you, to be honest with you. I mean, it's fine. But that means he's got $770,000 in one 2035 retirement fund. What do you think, Mark?
That doesn't bother me that much, but just looking at what the breakdown that he provided, it is pretty aggressive considering that he's getting, he's approaching retirement.
I think what he's saying, though, that the 457 plan, that 2035 fund, is 30% large cap, 25% international, 70. It's like a very aggressive. If it's 2035, I don't know. I feel like that's an aggressive outlook.
Maybe switch to like a 2020 fund.
Yeah, maybe pull it in a little bit. I don't even know. Like, why not just put some in stock index, bond index, and international index? I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want to do it.
I also get the sense that he may be planning on taking Social Security when he retires at 62. I don't think he has to do that. If I was him, I would get some of this money out before RMDs.
I agree. This is from Ron. He wanted to ask about my article in the Chicago Tribune about the economy producing 200,000 jobs in June. How is this number derived? Is it a net figure or is it actually jobs that did not exist in the past? The article identifies quits. All right, this is a big question. So let me just be clear. So statistically, there is the number of the jobs created comes from the survey to businesses, right? How many jobs did you fill? How many people did you hire? Okay. And so, yeah, that number is a net number. The quits number is a different survey. It's from the Job Opening and Labor Turnover Survey. he wants to set up a hypothetical. And so he says, if a person who quits and has a new job to go to, is that considered a new job that the economy produced? So the answer is that because these are two different surveys, they're not like, it's not parallel. So here's how he says, if a person who quits and has a new job to go to, is that considered a new job that the economy produced? The answer is yes, but they're totally different metrics because the quits has a lag time of a month. So if Mark quits being the executive producer of Jill on Money and then goes to become an executive producer at Gimlet Media, he is counted as a quit. And then if he takes a new job, that is a job that was filled by that company. So they're kind of different. So I think that a lot of the jobs data and what Ronald is bringing up is in fact a little bit weird because a lot of the jobs data is like job openings. You can have a job opening that's listed in Chicago, in San Francisco, in New York. It's basically the same job because maybe it's a remote job, but I think it counts as 3 job openings. And that's the kind of thing that's weird to me. All of these data points, what happens is they will converge and create a trend. But in any given month, it can be very weird and you can have a lot of distortion. So it's a little noisy. Here, you know what? The labor market is cooling down a little bit. This big article about how many of the jobs that are being filled as those summer jobs that were so hard to fill in the past. Guess what, Mark? As soon as immigration opened up and COVID kind of retreated, we had a flow of people who wanted those jobs again. It's amazing, isn't it? Shocking. All right. This is from Melissa. I'm 51 years young and ready to retire. 51 and want to retire. Interesting. She thinks she's on the right path. She's got an IRA. It's got $30,000. She really didn't learn a lot about this stuff till her 40s. She has humble beginnings. She amassed debt. And then she said, I had a small windfall through a lawsuit and I eliminated school loans and a car loan. Spouse and I have a home loan, 3.5%, $160,000 on a house that's worth $500,000. She makes $130,000. She gets a 5 to 10% increase raise this month. That's good. She contributes 6% to her retirement plan, 100% match, meaning up to 6% on this. She maxes out her Roth 457, which is great, $20,500. It's only her second year being positioned to do that. She says, I do expect to be in a lower tax bracket in retirement. Why? If you're absolutely going to be in a lower tax bracket and you really know that, then you would choose to be in a traditional. But how do we know that you're really going to be in a lower tax bracket? By the way, she also has brokerage account, emergency funds, about $500,000. It's pretty amazing.
You know, a lot of people think they're going to be on lower tax brackets when they retire. They just assume, oh, I'm not working, my tax bracket's going to go down. But that's not always the case. I mean, there's, all this money is going to continue to grow. She's eventually, I'm assuming, going to have Social Security. She didn't mention anything about a pension, but she has a 457, so I'm not sure. I don't know. It's a roll of the dice. That's for sure.
I mean, if you want to hedge your bets, you know what you would do? You would just split it. But I'd love to know more. Can you follow up with us, Melissa? If you've got a financial concern, just give us a holler. Go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. We'll be right back.
.401ks, IRAs, refinancing, she covers it all. Back to Jill on Money with Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, and we are here trying to help you make better financial decisions. All of our content lives on our website, JillOnMoney.com. You can check out our blog, and you can check out my videos where I've appeared on CBS News, and you can subscribe to our new service. It's Jill on Money Live. This is access to quarterly live webinars and more bonus content. Our next webinar is around the corner. It stars Nate Burleson, co-anchor of CBS Mornings and studio analyst for CBS's The NFL Today Show. We're talking about the NFL season kicking off, and I couldn't do it with anyone better than Nate Burleson. So check that out. Got to join Jill on Money Live to be part of it. Right now, let's get to an email from Nancy, who's asking about long-term care insurance. Nancy writes, I'm 64 years old and a recent widow. Oh my God, her husband had ALS for 8 years. Oh my gosh. Anyway, she writes, after caring for him through this terrible disease, I'd like to make sure that I have some kind of long-term care insurance in place for myself since my husband and I never had it prior. It is expensive, and the thought of paying for it for so many years and possibly never using it, well, that was a problem for me. In my research, I have come across hybrid policies where you can pay a lump sum or possibly roll over some IRA money and pay for 10 years. These seem to be good options because at least if I never use the policy, my children could get some sort of payout from the life insurance portion when I pass. Or if I do use it, especially the indemnity type policy, which is attractive to me, it would actually have growth. It kind of sounds too good to be true compared to the standalone policies. Self-insuring sounds pretty scary too. I'm so nervous to come on the show. You'll probably ask me questions about my investments that I will not be able to answer. And I don't want to say I'm not sure over and over. I've had to learn a lot in the last few months, but the portfolio part, I'm not there yet. You know what, Nancy? I understand this. I would say that you are not alone. When someone goes through a significant illness, it does, of course, make you get concerned for yourself. But let's just kind of go through the general categories of people and who has to worry about long-term care and who does not. So, obviously, when you're married, there's a huge concern about long-term care because money that you're spending on the care of the sick spouse is money that is depleted for the survivor. And that's why when we talk about long-term care, the couples become the huge focus of the attention. Because frankly, if you're single or you're a widow or a widower, then you are in basically a situation where you're just managing your own stuff. And if you went through all of your money, it would stink. And I know your kids wouldn't get the money and they would not inherit it. That said, it wouldn't be putting anyone else at risk. So who else needs to think about long-term care? So we think about couples who have a net worth of somewhere around, I'm probably going to use inflation on this, Mark. I'm going to think that we used to say $500,000 to $1.5 million. I bet it's more like 750, 800 to 2 million. That group of people who have like 750 to 2 million, they're the people who could exhaust a lot of their money on long-term care, leave a healthy spouse in trouble, or at least less secure. And those are the kinds of people that maybe these hybrid policies would really be interesting to consider. And they are interesting for not so much for the, I don't really care about the indemnity part. I don't really care about the growth of the money. I care about the coverage and what it can provide you. So the first thing to ask yourself is, what is my net worth? So that's something you don't have to understand investments for that. How much money do I have outside of my house? If your money is, let's say, I don't know, if you got $1 million outside of the house and you're all alone, you probably don't need it. If you've got less than that, if you have $500,000-$600,000, chances are you would spend money on your care, and then you would deplete some of your assets and maybe all of your assets, and you would pay for what you need. But buying the insurance yourself would be so expensive that it would, when you say, is it too good to be true? No, it's not too good to be true. It's exactly what it is, which is expensive coverage for an event that, may be coming up in terms of long-term care. With death, you definitely know it's coming up. So I guess that what I would say for you, Nancy, is I understand your concern. It is worth talking to somebody. And maybe one thing that could be a really good idea would be to see a certified financial planner and get an opinion on that. And maybe you need some help with the investments also. That's what it sounds like to me, at least. So check that out, Nancy, and get back in touch with us. You know what, Mark? I would like to talk to somebody who is a real expert in those hybrid long-term. We need a long-term care expert because I really want to have someone on who's more up to date about like what are the best policies right now. Okay. Bob writes, hi, Jill and Mark. I love your show. It's perfect for us short attention span folks who want a shot of good information, but we're ready to move on after a few minutes. Let me go fast. Bob says, we are both educators. I'm 63. I'm retired. I work part-time. I plan on dropping that in 2024 unless a great opportunity comes up. I make $3,600 a month with the part-time. My pension brings in $4,400 a month. I will be subject to the windfall elimination. What's the P? Windfall elimination provision. Thank you. So my Social Security benefit will only be about $800 if I take it at 65, 1,000 at 67. Okay. My wife will be 60 when she retires in 2024. Her pension will bring in $6,000 a month. So let's just get that. So 6,000, he's got 44, so 10,400, and then his Social Security on top of that. So he's got 11 grand at least. Okay. Meanwhile, the wife has an online gig. It brings in another 10 grand a year. She wants to ramp it up to 25 grand a year, and she'll generate that for another 8 to 10 years. Oh my gosh. And maybe she'll have another $500 a month from Social Security in 10 years when she turns 70. They've got $155,000 left on a 3.25% 20-year fixed rate mortgage on a home that's worth $450,000. Oh boy, here we go. Here's my complication right now. We purchased a lot on the Georgia coast with plans to build sometime in the future. They paid $53,000 for the lot. They've got a mortgage of $40,000, and they're going to pay that off in 5 years because the rate is 8%. They've got no other debt. Okay, here's what they got saved. We have combined Roth IRAs of $315,000 and then $28,000 in a 403B, 10 grand in brokerage, 10 grand in cash. The down payment on the lot and a bathroom remodel ate up most of our cash. We plan to rebuild that. That's good. When I see the calculations on the amount of money or a nest egg that it would take to generate $10,400 a month in guaranteed income, I have to think we're in great shape. Yeah, I'll say their expenses are around that amount per month, but that includes $500 a month going towards the lot. We have plans to travel. I want to feel comfortable spending $5,000 to $6,000 a year on that. I'd love another set of eyes to tell us we're in great shape or that we may want to look at working part-time a few more years. My wife loves her job as a school counselor, would have no problem doing that. Me, I'm done after next year. Or what do you think for Bob, Mark? I'm thinking I wouldn't mind his wife working a couple more years. Why doesn't she work a couple more years until that lot is paid off, and also rebuild the cash account, and then you're good to go? That's what I think. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, well, the pension obviously is huge. That's a lot of money. That basically covers everything. I mean, I don't know how much they plan on spending on this lot down in Georgia. What's it going to cost to build whatever they want to build?
I don't know. That to me is like unless you're thinking, here's what I think. If you're going to sell your house eventually and then use the proceeds to build the house, that would be great. She should keep working until you figure out what you really want to do with that lot. I don't know. It's very hard to imagine that like you're going to need more than what you have already accumulated, except if you blow it on that house. You're right, Mark. That's the case. That's one area where I'm thinking, you got to be careful. And most of you guys, like when you have a pension, you're right. Think about what it takes, Mark, to generate $10,000.
That would be like $3.5 million.
I was going to say 4 million, no sweat, and maybe even 5 in a low rate environment. Like it's crazy. So that's what the benefit of a pension really is. But if your wife likes working, keep working. It's the Jill on Money Show, and we'll be right back.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's the Jill on Money Show. We're taking your financial questions. Next up, let's talk to Lee, who's on the line from Nebraska.
So I am looking for help. I have accomplished a lot of goals and I'm just ready for something new. So just a few things about me. Little to no indebtedness. We own our house. There's no car payment, no student loans, no credit card payment. My mom does the daycare for my 7-month-old daughter. It's really an ideal situation. We've been aggressively saving for retirement. or what I would consider aggressively saving. And then I recently changed jobs. Both my husband and I have, and we're doing so much better. Like really having our daughter has just been, she is our lucky charm. And so we're doing very well. After we get done with everything, I have around $2,000 extra a month, and I want to build something great. I don't want to like waste money. I feel like I'm making all those appropriate contributions to 401k and IRA and HSA. Like I want to diversify and build my portfolio. And I'm here today because I'm hoping you can help me with that.
All right. So, Lee, you're rocking and rolling, which is great. So I just want to make sure I get some of the other details. How old are you?
I am 31.
Oh, my God, the ripe old age. And your husband is how old?
36.
Okay. You're both working full time?
Yes.
Okay. How much do you guys earn together?
160,000.
Are you both maxing out retirement plans?
My job will not allow me to get started for another 4 months, but my plan is to get the company contribution and all of that. And then while I've been waiting, I've been contributing to my IRA. Now my spouse, he just moved over to a union company. They give a nice pension. So we're both he's utilizing the employer match while I'm waiting to get in on mine.
Okay. And to be clear, when you said IRA or Roth IRA are you using?
Roth IRA.
Okay, got it. And so this is a new job. Do you have money from an old retirement account floating around?
Yeah, so I have been changing jobs over the past 10 years. In total, from prior employers, I have about 40,000.
Great. And have you consolidated all of those accounts?
I haven't. So, for one of them, it was with the state, so there was no penalty for keeping it there. My other one, I had a high enough balance where I could leave it as is and nothing would happen. My recent change, I had left it there. It's kind of floating out there. I should probably move it.
And what about the current plan? Do you have any details on that yet?
No, not a lot of details. Since I got you, is there something I should be looking for or asking about with that one?
Well, I would just want to know what is the firm where the money is going to be held. So is it like a Fidelity or is it a big insurance company? Because it may be easier to consolidate in the place where you are now. So I would just look for, number one, where is this account held? What are the investment options? And then, of course, some of the details you have the details of the match so far or not? Do you know how much you have to contribute to get their match?
6%.
And they match dollar for dollar up to 6%, or is it 50 cents on the dollar?
No, it's supposed to be dollar for dollar.
Oh, that's great. I mean, I would just again, if it's a good company, I would just stick to the current plan, roll everything in and not worry, just because it's easier. And when you have $40,000 and it's in disparate places, it can just get tough to manage it. So it's just easier when it's in one place. And what about your husband? Does he have a bunch of old money floating around also?
Yes, but not as high of balances. So he really only has two.
Mm-hmm.
And so one was with the state. The other one, it was just very low employer contribution. I think if he has $4,000 in it, I think we'd be lucky.
Okay, so let's go on here. I'm so excited about your $2,000 a month. So you have a 7-month-old daughter. Have you started any sort of education plan for her, or is there something else that you're thinking about that you'd like to do? What's your idea around how to manage that?
Yeah, so we have a 529 account set up for her. We've been making contributions to it. And then my parents have a 529. So what I've been doing is paying them for the daycare costs, or, what I should be paying. They've been rolling it into a 529. Between the two accounts, we have about $8,000 saved already.
Wow, that's such a great idea. This is like a sinking fund. It's great. So of the $2,000 a month extra, is that beyond what you're now doing in the 529?
Yeah, so that's beyond. I've thought about putting even more money aside for 529. We're thinking about adopting. it's just easier to save while you don't have the additional obligation.
Yeah, no kidding. And when you said, I just want to just double check, you said we own our home, meaning you have no mortgage, right?
I don't have a mortgage.
I didn't think so. So do you think that you will be moving? Like, what should we plan on? Because part of this would be, okay, so the reason why I'm asking all these questions is I'm thinking like $2,000 a month. What should we do with it? You mentioned you already have a brokerage account, right?
It's a mutual fund.
And what is that mutual fund?
Oh, the balance is only like 3,000. I haven't been doing it very long.
Do you know where it's held? Or like what company? Is it a firm? Is it a bank? Is it directly with a mutual fund company? Do you know?
It's with Edward Jones. So
now are you dealing with an Edward Jones broker?
Yes.
Is that Edward Jones broker doing anything else for you?
He is managing the Roth.
How much is in the Roth about?
About 21,000.
Great. And same for your husband, or a little bit less? What do you got?
He doesn't have one, so we've looked at setting one up. I just haven't decided to do it.
Is there some reason that you want to stay with Edward Jones? Because it's a somewhat expensive way to manage this money that you're putting away. So is this like a family friend, a relative, or something like that?
Oh, no, nothing like that. I was trying to get started like 10 years ago, had no idea what I was doing. My mom said, why don't you call them up and see what they can help you with? And that's how I got started.
Okay, good. Very good. If you would like to join us live, all you need to do is go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. We'll be right back.
Follow Jill on Twitter and Instagram for more personal finance content. Just use the handle @JillOnMoney. Now, back to the show.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. Let's get back to Lee from Nebraska. I believe that you probably do not need Edward Jones to help you with this. It doesn't mean that they're bad people. It's just that it's expensive. So what I would be interested in doing is establishing an account at some company where you can just put this stuff on autopilot. So here's the biggies. When I talk about this with people, I just want everyone to know I have no horse in this race, okay? These are the companies that provide very cheap access to investing, okay? So they include Vanguard and Fidelity and Charles Schwab and E-Trade and T. Rowe Price. These are the big companies that essentially allow you to invest almost for free. The reason we would like you to think about this, Lee, is that we can help you put this $2,000 a month on autopilot, and you can just feed it into these accounts, some in the Roth and maybe some in the brokerage, and then also put some money in the 529 plan. But the one thing I'm just trying to get my mind around is, so you mentioned adoption maybe. Like I'm trying to figure out, is there some money that we need to keep set aside for adoption, for a larger home? Like what do you think is going to happen?
Oh, that's the trouble. It's wide open right now. I've sat some money aside. It's my backup money, so it's only like $15,000 extra, or for backup money. I think it would be good to probably upgrade or buy a bigger house at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really think houses are an investment, and like moving's a hassle.
It totally is. I mean, look, what you could do. Of the $2,000, we need to think about a couple of things. There's like this 4-month period where you've got the $2,000. But then once that period is up, I'd love to hear back from you, and you'll tell us, where's the new retirement plan held? Is it at a big company? Should we be putting money in there? Do they have a Roth option, or is it just a traditional? You're going to keep using your Roth IRA. And you should definitely make sure that, that is funded. Did you already fund for this year, the Roth IRA, by the way?
I'm pretty close to being done or capping out on that. So I only have like $500 left, and then I'll reach the goal.
Okay, great. And so, Mark, what do you think in terms of the split among all of these different accounts and knowing that priorities can shift as well?
That is true. I mean, I do think they should probably open up a Roth IRA for her husband as well. That would knock down 6,500 right there. Again, like you said, let's see how the retirement plan looks. Her plan, maybe it's something that we really want to pour a lot of money into. Maybe it's with Vanguard. Who knows? Like, how much are you paying your parents every month in daycare? Like, how much is going indirectly into that 529?
So it's like 840.
If that's being rolled into the 529 every month, I'm actually okay with that. That's a good number. So the $2,000, again, see what your retirement plan looks like. But I would think the bulk of it would go into a brokerage account.
Yeah, I would think brokerage and retirement split between the two, depending, right? Because again, we're being careful about this because at the very least for the next 4 months, you know what I would do? So we have $2,000 a month. Let's do $2,000 a month into a Roth IRA for your husband and get that done. And then let's wait and see when you have details about the retirement plan, get in touch with us. Just say, here's the plan, here's what they offer, and then we can make a decision about what to do. But I just want to be clear. We are suggesting on an overall basis that you leave Edward Jones and you move into a cheaper investing environment. And that's going to take some work on your part. It's going to mean you're going to either, do you have a, if you have a local Fidelity officer, you get on the phone at Vanguard and you say, I have these accounts at Edward Jones and I would like to transfer them to you. That's exactly what you're saying. And then you get those established and then we start automatically contributing to these accounts. That's kind of what the bigger picture is. Make sense?
I love it. I can do it.
Okay. Now, one other little line of questioning. Do you guys have life insurance?
So I only have a policy on my husband. He does volunteer firefighting. You can get it through the state. It's a $500,000 policy, but it would be a line of duty death. I don't carry one on myself. Very long longevity, low indebtedness, those sorts of reasons. I don't really see the risk, so I haven't been.
Because you just don't think you're going to die. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Wait a second. I want to just smash your dream right now. Let me just blow your mind. First of all, I don't care if you have longevity, young lady. Bad things can happen. You can step off a curb and get hit by a bus. So you guys both need $500,000 of 20-year level term life insurance policy. You're young and you're healthy. You have to get this. You have to get this. Because it is too cheap not to insure that risk. It doesn't matter whether or not you have longevity because bad things can happen out of the blue. It's just like car insurance. You hope you never need it. And so you really need that. And you guys need estate documents. You have wills?
Yeah, I can't seem to convince
she's got longevity. She's got plenty of time to do it. Just, Lee, indulge me. And let me just tell you, you guys need to get a will, a power of attorney, and a healthcare proxy. You both need that. Very important. Now, do you have any friends who are lawyers?
Actually, I do.
All right, good. Talk to your friend who's a lawyer and say, this pain in the ass chick from New York told me I needed a will, a power of attorney, and a healthcare proxy. Can you or someone who's cheap just draft that for me and the hubby? We need to get this down on paper, and they'll do the rest, and you'll pay some money for it. So, you'll need this $2,000 a month, by the way, to pay for some of this. And then I want you to go online, go to Haven Life, go to Policy Genius. I want you to go and get yourselves $500,000 of 20-year level term life insurance for you and also for your husband. We're taking more of your financial questions. Jill on Money. We'll be right back. You're back. It's Jill on Money. This is the program that attempts to take the mystery out of your financial life. And the way that we do that is we encourage you to go to our website, jillonmoney.com, click the Contact Us button. If you write a note and you think it's just going to be an email, no problem. Just give us lots of details if you can. If you would like to join us on the air live, Just check the box and Mark, the best executive producer in the world, will do everything else. It's that easy. While you're on the website, don't forget to sign up for the free weekly newsletter and to buy my book, The Great Money Reset. It is such a good framework to help you make better long-term decisions, maybe even short-term ones. Maybe you don't have to go all or nothing. Lots of different ways to reset your life, and you guys have helped me understand that more than anyone else out there. So check out my book. It's called The Great Money Reset. Before we finish up the first hour of the program, let's do an email from Roberta, who writes, my grandson will be entering college this year, and he will be taking care of his own finances. Do you know of a good program to help him keep track of his expenses and his savings plan? Excellent question, Roberta. I love this topic because I think we're sending our kids off to college, and for many people, this is the time where you've got to really instill some good financial habits. So the first thing that I would say is that, in many cases, having an app is great. You can use your bank's app. You can use Mint. You can use something called You Need a Budget. But whatever it is, it's the focusing on the process that is so, so important. I think that it's not just about the budgeting process, which is important, no doubt, but it's a question about hey, let's talk about credit cards versus debit cards. Debit cards are very good to protect you against some future problems, but they don't help you establish credit. And so maybe this is a time where you have to figure out, should you be adding your kid as an authorized user on your account, or maybe a secured credit card is a better option. With all of these questions, there are many answers. I have a lot of them on my website, JillOnMoney.com. So thank you so much, Roberta, for the question. The Jill on Money Show, we've got a whole nother hour around the corner. We'll be right back.
It's the weekend, and that can only mean one thing. You're listening to Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's hour number 2 of the Jill on Money Show. If you would like to get a set of eyes and ears on your current financial situation, anything that's bubbling up for you, we encourage you to go to our website, JillOnMoney.com. JillOnMoney.com. And while you're there, you'll see there's a Contact Us button. You click it, write us your note. If you want to appear live with us, then just make sure you check that box, and Mark does everything else. Also, while you're on the website, there's so much great stuff. There's great content. Check out our 2 podcasts. We've got a podcast that airs daily called Jill on Money, and we also have the Money Watch podcast, all there for you. Right now, let's get to an email from Anonymous, who said that we had answered a question of hers last year when she was starting a new job. And she says, right now, I have retirement accounts in 2 separate places. Fidelity, the old account, which totals $78,000. $56,000 of a rollover IRA, $16,000 of a Roth IRA, $15,000 of a SEP IRA. Then I also have TIAA, new account through my current employer. Total is just about $4,000. Right now, I'm contributing 5% with my employer match at TIAA, not contributing anything into Fidelity, although I am going to try to start putting money into my Roth again when I have more income. Does it make sense to keep both of these, or should I roll over my Fidelity accounts to TIAA? Would the money go further if it was all together? Similarly, if I keep my Fidelity plan, should I roll any of the accounts into one another? Is it okay for them to be invested separately of one another? All right. And then separately, I'm wondering if you have advice about managed accounts. One of the accounts through Fidelity is managed. I'm under the impression I may be wasting my money with fees. In case other stuff matters for context, my spouse and I make a total of $180,000 a year. We've got a young child. We've done our end-of-life planning. We've got a mortgage on a house. We'll be done paying off our student loans in about 4 years. So it looks like the cash flow is a little tight right now, but it's going to improve over the next few years. Okay, so first of all, Anonymous, you cannot necessarily combine everything you have. If you have a traditional TIAA account, you could potentially take the rollover money, the rollover IRA that is at Fidelity, and roll it into the TIAA traditional. If you have a traditional and a Roth, you may be able to roll the rollover IRA into the traditional, the Roth into the Roth. The SEP IRA is a little bit different. The SEP IRA is open, I think, because you may have had self-employment income or someone else did. If you're not going to be using a SEP, you might want to just close that out and move it into the rollover and make it a done deal and done with your SEP. But if you plan to have any self-employment income, you may want to keep that open. It doesn't really matter whether you choose either Fidelity or TIAA. They're both really good. I'd probably at this point just consolidate into TIAA, and I don't think you probably need a managed account with this level of money that you have invested. So I try to keep it as simple as you possibly can. Okay, this is from Andy, who's retired, and he's been retired for a number of years. He's been taking his required minimum distributions from his 401k. He said, I first started with selling stocks as needed. Now I've sold them all, and I'm drawing from the mutual funds. I have only one fund with investments of over $400,000. It's a fund family: growth, dividend, and bond funds. I started to take the RMD from the bond fund only, as the other two funds give me more opportunity for growth. Question: should I be taking amounts equally from these three funds? This year, the amount will total $27,600. I'll be 80 in November. Here's how I think about these retirement distributions. I like to take them so that you maintain your asset allocation. So I would take it probably equally. I don't think that you need to, because if you drain just the bond fund and then the stock market dives, then next year those RMDs are going to be really painful. But, I generally like making sure that you have that amount of money for your RMD in cash, because you're going to need it. So let's go with that. Okay, let us move on. This is a great question. It's a good problem to have. This is from Fred, who says that he's got 5,000 shares of Apple stock. And he says it represents a large percentage of their retirement. I haven't looked at Apple's price lately, but I assume it's massive. So let me just check that out. So it's oh my gosh, as I'm looking at it today, $195 stock. It's right near its 52-week high. And guy's got a ton of money in Apple stock. So here's my theory on having an individual stock, especially if you say it's a large part of your retirement. I think that in general, it's hard to dispute that you have been so fortunate in owning this company. The stock has done incredibly well. But I am always nervous when people have more than 10% of their overall invested assets in one company. So I don't know if this is held in a retirement fund, because you said it's a large piece of your retirement package. So if it's inside of a retirement account, I would probably take the opportunity to sell and diversify. And at the very most, I don't know if I could actually manage holding even more than 15%. But if this is a larger share than 10 or 15%, I just think you owe it to yourself. You really do, to make sure that you lock in this incredible performance and stop rolling the dice. You're doing an incredible, incredible job. Okay, Rosanna.
And this is because remember last week we had a bad review about the Hyundai Ioniq. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
I felt like I had to even out the playing field.
Okay, so here we go. Mark wanting to be a people pleaser from way back. Okay, so hi, Jill and Mark. I just listened to the podcast with the excerpt from The Car Expert. And to give you an update, I traded in my Subaru and I bought the Hyundai Ioniq 5. Okay, all caps. I love this car, and I usually don't love things. I got a really great trade-in value for my old car. Hyundai offered a $33,750 rebate to make up for the fact that the Ioniq 5 is not included in the federal tax program, the tax credit program for EVs. The car is zippy. It's comfortable. I purchased it in the beginning of May. We already have 7,000 miles on it. Mark, by the way, my Mini Cooper has 6,000 miles on it to 2014. We installed a level 2 charger at home. It's very convenient. Our electric bill is only increased by $10. I do have a car payment now. It's not great, but the upgrade in performance has been worth it. I recommend the Ioniq 5 for those in the market for an EV, and I will be signing up for your premium service. Thank you, Rosanna. Mark, I'll tell you what, after that, I got spooked by that guy who wrote in after the negative.
That's why I feel like we had to include this one.
I mean, you can get a lemon no matter what, right? I remember early on, so I only buy used cars. So this one would not be a used car, but early on, I bought like this car off the lot on December 30th. I was a hard bargainer. I called up Quincy. I texted Quincy from the dealership. He's like, this is what you should offer. And he told me exactly how to do it. And it's great. Early on, I remember there was like a worry that there was a squeak. Someone said to me, that those cars, they have these terrible brakes. They squeak, squeak, squeak. And I went to the dealer and I'm like, what about the squeak? He goes, well, if it squeaks now, then you're done for. It's like, you've got it for the rest of your life. If not, don't worry. And it was never a squeaker. So thank goodness. We'll get back to your financial questions. This is the Jill on Money Show.
.401ks, IRAs, refinancing, she covers it all. Back to Jill on Money with Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's the Jill on Money Show, and we are here answering your financial questions. We're trying to help you make better decisions based on what's going on in your own lives. And it does not matter what those things are. We are agnostic about your amount of money, the problem being too big or too small, whatever it is, unload it on us. Mark and I would love to hear from you. Just go to JillOnMoney.com. Click the Contact Us button, and we'll be sure to get your note. If you want to come on the air, then just check that box. Mark does everything else. Right now, we are going to be joined by Jeannie, who's on the line from North Carolina. Hi, Jeannie. How are you? What's going on?
I am doing well. I hope that you guys are doing well.
We are. What's up? How are you? What's happening? What can we do for you?
Well, first of all, I'm very excited about listening and talking with you and Mark. So I feel like my husband and I, that we've prepared fairly well for retirement. However, I don't think the work is quite done yet. And that's where you guys come in. I just really want a financial checkup. So we are both 58. My husband has recently retired, probably like the last year and a half. We are still adjusting, at least I am anyways. So he was an educator for 30 years, and he loved that. He was also athletic director and coach. He's always been very, very busy. I also worked, but when we had the children, I stepped out of the workplace for a while. So he's starting to get back into the workforce.
Did he get bored? What happened?
I think he did get bored, honestly. Education's just changed a little bit. So he stepped out for kind of an early retirement. It really wasn't what we were thinking, the way that our life was going to go, but that's what he did. And now he's back in doing what he does. He's a substitute teacher, and he's also an officiator for sports, and he's a support, if you will, individual for the school system.
Did he receive a pension once he, I was about to say graduated, retired from education?
Yes, he did.
How much is the pension amount?
When that comes in, it's $3,200 a month.
And how much does he earn as he's back in as a substitute teacher and doing the officiating? How much does he earn with that?
So like I said, he just started doing that really. I think he can pull anywhere from 15 to 20. He could go, they only can make a certain amount, and he knows what the amount is. So, and he's not going to come anywhere near that, but I think he's going to do anywhere from 15 to 20. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. And Jeannie, what do you do? Are you also in education or do you do something else?
Well, Jill, I was ready for that question. I don't have just one answer for you.
All right.
So I have done quite a bit. As you already know, I've stayed home with the children, but even then I was hustling. So I've worked retail, I've worked banking, I've worked school support as well for a while. Then I did wellness and exercise, and I did that for like 15 years. My foot's still in the game with that. I have a lot of energy. And then I also do hospitality.
My God. So do you have one full-time job, or do you have a whole bunch of side hustles that you accumulate different streams of income?
So I would say that I have a lot of side hustles, but I do want to be very clear. Like, I just stepped out of the workforce just because I just needed a break. And I just took the summer to kind of clear my head and hit the pause button, maybe reset. I know that's a good word.
Yep.
But I'm going to go back in, soon.
Okay. So if, your husband's got the pension of $3,200 a month, let's say that, let's say he's just making $1,000 a month from his stuff. Maybe it's going to be more, but I'm just going to count on the part-time income of $1,000 a month. What do you think you can bring in when you get back in?
I think, so part-time, and I'm going to speak annually. Annually, I can do about $17,500 part-time, but I'm willing to do whatever I need to do to make sure that we're in good financial health. I think that we have great financial habits, so, and I would honestly say he's probably about $1,500 or $2,000. And then for me, I think I'm $17,500 part-time, but I could kick it up a notch just based upon what we think.
Well, let me ask you something. How much do you guys spend? What do you need in terms of your expenses? What do we need to bring in to cover your expenses? What's your guesstimate?
So, we are really frugal. So we're about $1,700 a month in spending.
Wait a second. Stop it.
What, are you eating ramen every night?
Well, I garden, and I'm not lying. I really do. I garden and I do things like that. So, we save like half of his check easily.
So, okay, if you can live on his pension and you guys have not even received your Social Security yet, and you're going to bring in another $3,000 a month between the two of you, what's the question that we have to answer for you? What can we help you with?
Well, I want to make sure that asset allocation has been good for both of us. We have the IRAs, we have traditional, we have Roth. We have
All right, let's do a little bit of this. Hold on a second. So let's talk about what you've saved. Let's first do retirement accounts. How much money in retirement accounts?
All right, I'm going to start with myself first. So in the traditional IRA, and I just pulled these numbers yesterday.
Okay.
I'm at 190, 714, and some change.
Let's just do round it, please. 190. Thank you. Continue.
All right, and then the Roth, 83,000.
Great.
All right, and then I'll do my husband. So he is traditional 130. I had to remember what you said. You like rounded numbers.
Yes, ma'am.
And then Roth, he's at 51,000.
And do you have non-retirement accounts floating around?
Yeah, we do. There's like 10,000 there.
And what about cash in the bank?
That's there's another 5 there.
Any other investments besides what you've just recounted to us?
Well, we have it's not an investment, but we own our home. And
how much is that worth?
$350,000.
Mortgage or no?
No.
Anything else? Land or some other, rental property, anything like that?
Nothing like that, but I'm glad you said land. I feel like that was good for me because we do have an interest in buying some land that's near my brother, about a couple hours away, and it's very, it's back to the mountains, and I love the mountains, so we're thinking of doing that, but I haven't bit that bullet yet, and I don't know that I will. So,
how much would that cost to buy that land near your brother? How much would that cost?
About 20.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, done. We're done. Right now, when you're saving all of this money every month, where is it going?
Well, and so that's what I wanted to talk to you about too. The question is, I just want you guys to weigh in that we keep putting it into the Roth. The Roth, I think it's fantastic, and that we're over 50 and we can do a little extra. So we're trying to max out the Roths. However, I also am like, well, maybe we should be putting it. I'm going to open up a brokerage account very soon, and I was thinking maybe I should put into the brokerage and start to invest like the total stock market index or the bond market index. However, I also like that Roth. So, and I know
you guys have plenty. I mean, my reaction to that is you got plenty of money in retirement assets. I would rather you build up your liquidity. And, you said the non-qualified or the meaning the non-retirement and cash, and, to have a brokerage account. Yeah, I would build that up because also that's a place where you can put the money until you decide whether or not you're going to buy the land. And yeah, I would do that. I think that's fine. Or, again, once you start working, if all of a sudden you're saving $3,000 a month, you could say, let me put $2,000 in brokerage and then I'll use the $1,000 a month to put into the Roth and be done. We'll get back to Jeannie in just a second. It's the Jill on Money Show, and if you want to play, just go to JillOnMoney.com. We'll be right back.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, the program that tries to take the mystery out of your financial life. Let's get back to Jeannie, who's on the line from North Carolina. You're in great shape. So what are the kinds of allocations that you guys have? Are you using just plain old index funds? What's your outlook right now?
Well, so to be honest with you, when I first started out, I was busy with the kids, and I just knew that target date retirement funds were something better than nothing, so I started throwing money into there. And really, I never went back to revisit.
I mean, but that's not the worst thing in the world. Do you feel like, and where are you? Are you at Vanguard or Fidelity? Where are you?
We're with Vanguard.
I mean, there's two things to point out. One is that, it's fine. Or if you just wanted to make it easy, you could take the money that's in the Vanguard target date funds and you could just say, well, like in the Roth, I could make it a longer dated fund, meaning push the date out a little bit and it'll be riskier. In the traditional, you can maybe make it a little bit less risky, or you can just abandon ship with the target date funds. There's no tax implications if you make a change right now. So if you wanted to, you could say, I could put 40% in the total stock market index, 20% in an international, and the rest in a bond index. And if you want a little bit more risk, you skew more towards the stock. If you want a little bit less, you skew more towards the bond. But that's essentially what is happening in those target date funds. That's kind of the outlook that the fund managers take. A little bit here, right? But if you want to do it yourself and have a little bit more control, then certainly you can do that. But I don't think you're in bad shape with the target date funds at Vanguard. Do you, Mark? Do you think that they need to make any big changes?
No, I don't think so. If she's comfortable with that, then fine. You don't have to mess with it.
Yeah, you really don't have to unless you're feeling like, I want to put my arms around this a little more. I want to get, I want to buy an emerging market fund or something like that. But I don't think you need to. I really don't. I think you're in really good shape. I mean, first of all, just big picture, you guys are amazingly set for retirement. Why? Because you don't spend a lot of money. In fact, you could spend a little bit more money. You got some adult kids now. Do they need any help from you? Do you have grandchildren? What's going on?
So no grandbabies. I wish, but that's okay. That's not my decision.
I know. You already had your kids. How old are they?
Oh, so I have a 29-year-old and a 23-year-old.
Okay. And are they launched? Do they need your help?
No, they're completely launched. Our kids are great. I told Mark earlier, we're from up north, and I don't know, it's just, we really instilled in them that they need to work hard and go after what they want, and that's where they are. So they very, very rarely ask us for anything, but we do try to help them. We try to bless them. So, yeah.
Oh, that's so nice. All right. Well, listen, let me ask a few more details of you. Do you guys have your estate documents? You have your wills, your power of attorney, your healthcare proxies?
Yeah, we have all that done. We're going to go back and revisit the estate documents and things like that, the wills.
I think you're in good shape. I don't know. I wouldn't make a lot of changes. I also wouldn't kill yourself about, like, you should go back into working with at the job you like. The lesson of your husband, by the way, for all of us, is that it's great to retire, and then it's great to go back in and choose the aspects of your job you really like. That's the coolest part. So I think that, you know, from my perspective, looking from the outside, you're set for retirement. You've done an amazing job. You should go and do the things you want to do. And that, you know, if you say, I want to do retail, or no, I want to do wellness, or I want to do this, it doesn't matter. It's whatever makes you happy. You should not feel like you have to do more work or less work. And you know you can live on your husband's pension. So, I mean, great.
I mean, you guys barely spend any money. Like, do you feel like you're living tight, or do you have this urge to spend more money, but you're scared to?
Honestly, that is a joke with me. I feel like I'm going to be that retiree who has this money but doesn't want to spend it. Or I grew up in a big family, and you know, we had the best of best, and then we had the worst worst. Like, so I've seen it from every aspect, and I've seen, you know, I don't know. I think I am going to have a hard time spending money. I really do think that. And I don't even know when. I don't need any of our money right now. So that's the other thing, is like, when do I start? So, I mean, we're 58. We don't need anything right now. Is it in 10 years that I start to kind of like, I want to beat the RMD. I want to make sure that I'm in control of the taxes.
So, I mean, look, when you're young now, but what I would start to say is that when you know how much money you're both making, and like this will be in the next year or two or so, right? You'll get a better sense of what we're making as, you know, the couple. So maybe it's between the two of you, it's $3,000 a month. Maybe it's more, but if it's $3,000 a month plus the pension, which is $3,200, what you could start to do is start pulling some of the money out of the traditional accounts and keep yourself in the 22% tax bracket. You don't have that many tax deductions. So, you know, you're going to be in a high enough tax bracket, not huge, but it's going to be hard for you to stay in 12, you know, because it depends how much money you're making. You know, if you were just making the pension right now, if you said, that's it, we're never going to make any more money, that would be one way to kind of minimize your tax hit. Then you could start pulling money out and stay in the 12% tax bracket. So if you're married filing jointly right now, that would be total income of $89,450. So you get, you know, your standard deduction. So, you know, you could probably pull out 20, 30 grand, but it depends on how much money you're making together. We don't know how much to pull out till we figure out what it is you're making. If you think that you can actually, you know, limit it to the 12%, great. But it may be that you're in the 22%, and that would be fine as well. But I wouldn't make that decision until you have a sense of really how much you're both making together and then what your total income would be. And I think that's it.
All right. I have one more question.
Okay.
All right. This is just a little one. So in terms of, we have a term life insurance policy. I have one on my husband. Do we need that anymore?
You definitely do not. Not necessary. You've got plenty of money. And is his pension a joint pension? Do you get it if he were to pass away?
Yes, he set me up very nicely.
Then you don't need it at all. You're good. You're good. If you would like to run through your financial situation, just go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button. We'll be right back.
Follow Jill on Twitter and Instagram for more personal finance content. Just use the handle @JillOnMoney. Now, back to the show.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. Next up, it's Tracy from California. Hi, Tracy. How are you?
Hi, Jill and Mark. How are you both?
We're good. What can we do for you?
Well, I need your help. I'm one of those pension unicorns where I have an inflation-adjusted pension that covers all of my monthly expenses. So my question is, when I start to draw down money from my retirement accounts, how much is safe to withdraw? What would be the maximum amount that would be prudent?
I love a pension that covers all the expenses. I like that idea, the pension unicorn. And then we'll have a picture of Tracy with little unicorn horns. That's fabulous. So, Tracy, first of all, how old are you?
I am 56.
Okay. And are you single, partnered, married? What's your status there?
Single, no children.
Okay. How much is the pension amount?
So the monthly net would be $58.98.
$58.98 a month. And that covers everything. That's net of your health insurance and net of taxes. Like that's
Yep.
Okay, great. And what else do you have that's out in the universe when you talk about pulling money out of other accounts? So tell us a little bit more about what else you have.
Okay, so in my cash accounts, I have approximately $106,000.
Mm-hmm.
I have a mutual fund that's $53,000. Roth IRA of $115,000.
115. Where's that held?
T. Rowe Price.
Okay, great. Keep going.
And I have two 457 plans from, government employment, totaling $609.
And I presume those are pre-tax plans, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. Are there any other assets in terms of non-retirement assets? We did the Roth and the two 457s. You have cash. You have that one mutual fund. Is there any other account out there?
Yes, the last one is a brokerage account for $453,000.
$453,000. Oh my God! I mean, you're a catch girl. Okay, so. But the $5,900 a month is covers you. And
Yes.
Will you be entitled to Social Security eventually?
Yes.
So what's your Social Security benefit at your full retirement age? So in 11 years, you'll be 67. What's the benefit that you would receive at that level?
So when I went onto the website and used the web calculator, at 67, it's showing $1,328 a month.
Okay. And what about at 70?
$1,647.
Okay. And there's no one else. You say you have single, no kids, but do you have any relatives? Do you have parents? Do you have siblings that you need to at least account for or take care of in some way?
Well, I'm currently taking care of my mom now, but beyond that, everything else would be a gift or whatever's left behind when I'm done doing my retirement thing.
And you live in your own home?
We're currently renting now. I'm unsure as to what the future holds in terms of whether I'll be renting or buying. I figure in 4 to 5 years, I would like to buy a house, but we'll just see where things go. But I will be preparing to purchase a home. I'm saving for that down payment just in case. So I may actually move to another state. I'm just not sure yet. So
How much is your rent right now?
About $2,500.
So, I mean, to some extent, you're saving, but you already have this $400,000 in brokerage. So, I mean, it's like, or let's say you have $500,000 between the mutual fund and the brokerage that, you could use that to obviously as a down payment on a home. You could do a lot with that. So I'm not particularly worried about that. Do you have health care covered through your pension?
That's included in my monthly expenses. So no, so I pay for that out of pocket. But that's all covered as part of my monthly expenses.
Oh my God. So what are your expenses generally?
About $4,200.
So that's why you're saving this, $1,700 a month. That's amazing. And where are you popping that? Into the brokerage account or the cash account?
The cash account for now.
Any other big purchases coming up? Big party to celebrate your retirement or something like that?
No, I would like to purchase a car probably in a few years, but the one I have is good to go. And so I already have money set aside for that in the cash account.
Man, you are so on top of this stuff. I mean, just because you have a ton of money, have you done estate planning? Do you have a will? Like, who's getting all this moolah?
I know. So that's next on my list to do. So I sort of started that now. Decisions. Who wants to be nice to me?
I mean, we can just put it out there. You want to be nice, but you can't tell them who wants to be nice. We can just set up little experiments. That could be kind of fun, right?
Yes,
all right,
absolutely.
So right now, obviously, you are in I should say low-ish tax bracket. So you're in the solid 22% tax bracket. The thing that's weird about your 457s, I guess there could be an argument that you should convert some of those to the Roth. You could just start taking some money out of the 457, pay the tax due, and just do it very slowly. And maybe just take out, like right now, maybe $20,000 or $25,000. You could do more, but you'd have to pay tax at the 24% bracket. We'd like you to get a lot of that money out of that account because we don't know where tax rates are going. So even if you could pay at the 22 or the 24% tax bracket, that would be good because almost like automatically once you start collecting Social Security, you're going to be at that bracket anyway. The Jill on Money Show, we'll be right back. You're back. It's Jill on Money. Let's get back to Tracy in California. If you had said to me, oh, no, I own a home and I'm all set, I might be more tempted. But since we don't know about the house, I like having this $500,000 that's out there. I might just pull out until you decide. Like, when are we deciding about the house? You said 4 to 5 years?
4 to 5 years.
So you're only 56 right now. Are you going to be making any side hustle money, or are you done? Like you're done working?
Yes, probably. I have eyes on another part-time job, probably within the next few months.
How much would that bring in?
Probably about $2,500, $3,000 a month.
Okay. So in that case, you're sort of, now you've pushed yourself in the 24% bracket.
Yeah.
So what I would say is this. You have $70,000 of income from the pension, right? Then let's say you make another 30 from part-time stuff, right? You turn 59 and a half, you start pulling the money out that will keep you in the 24% tax bracket. So every year the IRS says, oh, here's the adjustment for the tax brackets. Right now, if you are single, the tax bracket at 24% is you have a 24% tax on money from $95,376 up to $182,000. But conceptually, what I want you to think about is I want to pull out enough money from my retirement account when I'm allowed to do so, and just pay the tax that's due and make sure that when you pull money out of that retirement account that they withhold 20% for taxes for you. And you'll end up paying a little bit of money when you on this money that you pull out every year. Stay in the 24% bracket. And maybe we would make a different decision if something changed. But for now, I think that could be a good game plan. I think until you really decide about the house issue, that it is not a smart thing to use up all that big chunk of money in the brokerage account to pay for a Roth conversion. Well, that's it. That's the program. Our music is composed by Joel Goodman. Mark Talercio is our executive producer. Try to lift someone up today. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next week.